everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Aligned and Unstoppable podcast. This is episode number 374, and this is being recorded initially live. And so if you'd like to watch the replay of the video, you can check it out on my YouTube channel at Emily Aaron. So let's dive right in because I made a post. I was feeling really drawn. I actually was going to call the post, "We Don't Talk About ... because my kids are really into Encanto right now. And so we sing We Don't Talk About Bruno basically daily. If they're not singing it, I will literally wake up and it's the first song in my head. So that's a fun fact about me. But what I wanted to say was we don't talk about negative visitors in our home. We don't talk about, God forbid, if we live with a negative person in our home. And maybe that is a partner, a spouse, an in-law, or a long-term guest or whatever it is. But we can sometimes have a little struggle with negative energy coming into our home and making us not feel the best. So I've compiled what I think is a very simple list of ways that you can clear your space, protect yourself, and basically make it a better experience for everybody, basically. And for those of you who are joining me live while I'm recording, you can certainly ask me questions that I will answer at the end of this sort of session. If you live with somebody or if you are preparing for a visitor that has negative energy and you want to like get some help. So the first thing I always suggest, like anything, and is really, clear yourself, clear your house first, because even if somebody comes into your home, if it's not clear to begin with, like you're already dealing with some stuff. So I personally liked, I love the smell of white sage or Palo Santo. I do have some room sprays, but I kind of stick to the classics, the basics, and I use it pretty much daily. So my family is used to the smell of it. I know when I first started using sage around my husband, he'd be like, "Oh, it smells really bad." And I'm like, "Of course it smells bad to you. You wouldn't like it because you're so negative right now." I'm pretty sure there's like memes on that too. I'm like, exactly. But in truth, using sacred sage or Palo Santo is an amazing way to very simply clear out, heavy negative energy that doesn't support you. If you don't know how to use it, what I do, and I'm sure there are other ways that other people have been taught or practice. For me, I like to keep things really basic and simple. So what I like to do is I set an intention to clear myself first and foremost. I connect with my higher self. I light the sage or Palo Santo, and I'm pointing to it because I have like this little like stash right here next to my desk because I light it every day. But I light a candle with a match, and I light the sage or Palo Santo, and then I will sage myself. I will then sage my computer, my desk, my phone, my room, and I will crack a window open. So I'm intending to clear myself in my space, and I'm intending for all the energy that doesn't serve me and support me to be released out of the window. Okay? I do this through my whole house. And I pretend as though like I'm painting the walls and the corners and the floors and the ceilings like a vacuum, almost like sucking up all the energy that doesn't serve me, my house, and the people who live here. Excuse me, as I release, and I direct it out the window. I tend to tone. So toning is like making that sound, that whoo, or whatever the sound is, to clear the energy of the space with whatever sound it is that you make. You could play crystal balls or whatever it is for you. I keep it real simple. Sometimes I'll take a feather and I'll use the feather, but I mean, if I'm sitting at my desk, I'm not really getting fancy. So first things first is you want to clear your house, clear your space, clear yourself, because then you know you're kind of at a high place energetically. If you're somebody who uses crystals, clear quartz crystals that have been cleared as well, those are great to clear your space as well. You can also wear crystals on your body. So whether it be jewelry, I have a few small crystals that are polished that I will program to hold my energy in alignment and balance so that I'm in, a heightened state. And nothing that doesn't serve me is gonna, bother that. So I program crystals and I'll put them in my bra or I'll put them in my pocket. Yes, selenite is great to clear space. I totally agree. It's great for communication. Thank you for mentioning that on the live, Bridget. I have selenite in every room in my house. My kids find them in the corners of rooms and like, look, I found something. So definitely selenite, it's a great one. You can get little small wands and put them in the different areas of your home. So we clear yourself and you can program a crystal. This is like, I'm still in step one. Hope you're following. But I program a crystal and I'll either put it in my bra or put it in my pocket to help just me to feel supported. Then I'm not having to hold my energy. The crystal takes care of that for me. I also wear crystals when I go to speaking in events or if I'm at a place with a lot of colleagues or peers that it's like, a couple day workshop or something. I will not go to those workshops without wearing crystals. So if you see me at a workshop, you can guarantee I have a crystal on me. Sorry, I have a piece of cashew that just kind of floated into my mouth. Fun. The second thing I love to do, and this was something that I think really resonated with folks when I posted it on Instagram the other day, was I make an energetic waterfall. And I think this is maybe like just a weird thing that I do that nobody else does because they're like, oh, that's cool. Tell me more about that. So here's what I do. And you can imagine it in your mind. I imagine the threshold of my home where people are walking in and out the door's open and there's a waterfall installed in the top of it. So I'm doing like these pointy things. So it's installed in the top of it. So when folks walk through the threshold, they're walking essentially through my energetic waterfall and the water is cleansing them. So I set an intention that when I install this waterfall, that whoever walks through it is going to be cleared and aligned to be in a supportive energetic state to my home and for the folks who are in it. And so anything that doesn't serve them can be released through this waterfall. And if they wish to pick it up on their way out, they can do so, but it will be left outside of the house to be transmuted, not to be brought in. Does that make sense? I hope so. I used to do this because my husband is a plumber and plumbing is kind of a rotten job, and there are days where he would have to be in a crawl space with like rats and spiders and like poop and all kinds of nasty things. And I mean, I think anybody who is human would find that to be kind of revolting. And so at the end of the day, he would come home kind of like in a rotten mood. And I was like, can you not bring that shitstorm into the house, please? I was having a great day before you walked in and just like tore it all up. And that would happen to me all the time. And that's why I started to make these waterfalls, because I was like, listen, if you're not going to control how you're flinging your energy, I will help you. So in my space around me, when you walk in, you're going to let go of that stuff. And even if you have young kids or teens or your partner or in-laws or whatever, if you feel like they would be open to it, just invite them to let it go and say, like, here's the little bucket. You can even put a real bucket outside and say, listen, there's a bucket here if you want to leave the stuff that's been weighing on you, stressing you out, making you worried, whatever, getting you into an upset space. You can leave it outside, and if you want, you can grab it on your way home, on your way out. But invite people to let go, because sometimes we don't even realize how much we're holding on to. And I'm like, note to myself, because sometimes my oldest son, who's 6.5, will come home in kind of a good mood. And then sometimes he's kind of heavy and stressed, and you can tell it's been a day. So I think I'm going to take my own advice here and do that with my kid. But I used to use that Waterfall for my husband. I still use it today. And I definitely use it, especially if I know that lots of people are coming to the house for something. I want everyone to feel really good. And part of the way that they feel really good is I hold the container for the energy. I set the intention, I clear the space, I put a Waterfall in, and everybody feels that. So the third thing is what most people don't want to do, which is, instead of focusing on the outside forces, oh yeah, so Dania, yes, you said the energetic waterfall. I had to explain to Matt that he has to leave the stress at the door. Yes, exactly. Leave it outside. We don't want it. So the third thing is that I know most people focus on like that negative person who's coming into the house. Like if you have like in-laws and they just bring this like dark cloud in with them, or friends, or whatever, maybe it is your partner or your kid, they're kind of like bringing that dark cloud energy into your home and you're like hyper focused on it. It's a good opportunity to stop. Okay, focus on managing your energy. You cannot change their energy no matter how hard you try, and I know you've tried. I have too. Guilty as charged. But we cannot change them. We cannot change other people's energy. We cannot do anything for them unless they're like a client who is literally paying us to change their energy, shift it, and align it, which is something I offer, but typically not to folks who come into my home. I am not your healer. I'm just your friend or your daughter or whatever I am to you. So it's not my work to do. This is like me yelling out to all the healers out there. We don't have to fix all the broken birds. Okay? Capiche? So it's not yours to do to fix everybody else's energy. If somebody has negative energy, redirect, focus on your own space. So for those of you who are members of Mastery and Ascension, I know a lot of you are, you're very familiar with my meditation called Reboot. It is a simple meditation. You press play and you go about your day. Reboot is about 10 minutes long total, not even. I think maybe it's like 7 or 8. But you listen to it and it clears your entire energetic field. It aligns you and it gets you into that heightened state without any effort exerted on your part. Awesome, right? If you're not a member of Mastery and Ascension, you're going to want to get in just to get that one. Depending on when you watch or listen to this, Mastery and Ascension may or may not be open. Right now, at the very time of this live recording, the doors are open. You can get in at emilyaarons.com/groups. I digress. So with your energy, focus on your energy. Don't worry so much about theirs. Just focus on yours. This brings me to my fourth tip. Reset. You gotta reset and ground yourself. So when we progress from step 3 of like, I gotta focus on myself and not so much theirs, you gotta focus on resetting yourself. So whether it's pressing play, doing Reboot, whether it's going into the bathroom to just clear your energy and recalibrate. Imagine like Glenda the Good Witch, you're putting yourself in a beautiful bubble, just clearing anything that doesn't serve you out, sealing off your own little bubble so you're nice, aligned, and balanced, and vibrant, holding your own energy, and not taking on anything that doesn't serve you and support you. You can go outside for extra credit, because really when you're in a space, in a home with people, and you really can't get out, some of the anxiety that starts to come through when you're with people who are kind of heavy and negative, it actually is so nice. Like you open the door, it's like, it's almost like you have like sweet relief when you walk out the door. So walk out the door, but really ground yourself on the earth. Ground yourself. Jessica said, I struggle the most with my kiddos. Yeah, so perhaps it's a great opportunity to like involve them in it, because they may not realize anything about energy. They may not realize about like, you know, holding a container or feeling things. And I think kids sometimes feel a lot. They're highly sensitive, but they lack the verbiage, or they can't articulate exactly what's going on. And so as an adult, especially as a parent, I'm constantly trying to give a dialogue. Like, you know, I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. They're having tantrums every day about all sorts of things. And there's sometimes that it's just like, you know, passing wave, and sometimes it's like a longer ordeal. And, you know, it's like, well, how can I help them in this situation? And maybe also not get super triggered by all of it, you know? So this is a really good way that we can work on our own spiritual growth and be the assistant to our lovely children, because they really came here. They chose us for a reason, right? And so we're here to help them evolve as well. They chose us so we could be their teachers. And also, frankly, they teach me a ton too. I've worked on my spirituality way more from after having kids than I did before. And I've been doing this woo-woo stuff my whole life, really. So my kids have really helped me evolve in that way, because they help push me and trigger me and, you know, get me to that next place. So anyway, so go outside, reset yourself. Also hydrate, because I know, like, I mean, I stopped drinking alcohol a few years ago, but man, sometimes my brain just is not functioning at its optimal level. And I know some of that is because of sugar crashes or dehydration. I would say, I forget where I saw the stat, but it was something like 80% of humans are dehydrated. So you might just be like ticked off because you're super thirsty. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but if you can reset yourself, if you can go outside, if you can have a huge glass of water, it will shift how you show up. It will shift how you feel and how you think. And lastly, when they leave, clear again. Like, it's like the bookends. So for me, I clear my space, you know, before and after work, before and after sessions, before and after a client call, before and after a podcast and a Facebook Live. It's like the bookends. Clear, 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 before and after. Okay. And sometimes throughout, right? We talked about that reset. So go back to what you did before that guest or person came, clear the space, open doors, open windows, and especially afterwards, because, you know, one of the things that I know to be true about myself is that when folks come into my space, whether it be as a healing space or just as like a friend or a family member, they bring their stuff with them. And I know I am very empathic. I'm sure the folks who are watching or listening are as well, very highly sensitive people that can also make you a great listener, a great shoulder, and you might find strangers anywhere just telling you stuff, right? And so that goes for strangers outside anywhere telling you stuff, but also in your home, that really sometimes folks come to your house so that they can let go, so they can unload some stuff. And so maybe the visit was great and they weren't like seeming like a dark cloud, but there is just a need to clear the space again. Always, always, always. So, and I always host Thanksgiving, and we have almost 30 people who come. So it is really wild, packed, lots of energy, and I cannot wait. Like, bye, last person leaves, and I'm like opening the doors. I'm like, oh, get the stuff out. You know, I want my space to feel good again. And for those of you who have young children, and especially those with very highly sensitive kids, you will notice a shift in them when you are consistently clearing your space. I know for me, even when I went on vacation recently, we were staying at a Airbnb, and I realized after like 3 nights, I was like, oh, we do have jet lag and we changed time zones, but I didn't clear this place. And that's so unlike me. Usually when I get in place, I'm like firing up whatever I got. I'm like clearing it. But I hadn't. I was just having too much fun, I guess. And then I kept forgetting because I wasn't really at the house very often. As soon as I cleared that house, my kids slept through the night without a peep, and actually later into the morning. Same goes for my home. If my kids, if their sleeping habits have been wonky, I'll clear the house and they will sleep that night. It just is. So these are great tips, of course, for, you know, any negative energy in your house, how to protect your house, how to protect yourself, your kids, your whatever inhabitants are in your home. And also realize that home is one of the 5 elements that I have been really geeking out over. I have been teaching this class called the Business and Soul Alignment Experience. And as I put this workshop together, I was talking about energy systems and getting into alignment. And what I found was I pared down alignment into 5 different elements that I teach in that workshop. And again, depending on when you're watching this or listening to it, I may or may not be offering it again. I don't know. But I will give the link in the podcast show notes if it is happening again. For those of you who are watching me live and you want to join, I am going to do it again in March. So that link, I believe, is emilyarons.com/ actually, I'm not going to give you the link. I got to make sure I got it right. I'm not going to give it to you. We're going to just cut that part out. But yes, damn, I need to be clearing our house more. Yes, Jessica, probably. I have a mahogany sage wooden wick candle and I love it for my office. That's awesome, Michelle. That's super cool. Had to grab it and light it. Yeah, so when you clear yourself every day, you notice that like slight little energetic shift when you're off. So that's what's important. So what I was saying was that the Business and Soul Alignment Experience I've been teaching, we talk about different ways that you can be in or out of alignment. The home, interestingly, was one of the elements that was rated more highly, like people felt more aligned in their home. So just as we close this podcast, I want you to consider your home, because obviously you're watching this, listening to it, and there's a resonance because maybe there's in the past been somebody negative in your home, your workspace, or whatever, or maybe it's currently, maybe you live with somebody who's just kind of like, mwah. So notice how you feel. Just tune in for 1 second, maybe 2. Notice how you feel when it comes to your home, your space. Are there sacred spaces? Is there clutter? Do you have a special area? And just notice how you feel. Just check in. That's it. If there's something that you're being drawn to energetically right now, when I ask you how do you feel about your home or your office, whatever, there might be places that are calling for you to shift the energy there. So this would be an opportunity to just write it down or go do it. Go do the clearing. So let me know in the comments below how this episode resonated with you. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're with me live, specific, like if you live with somebody and like there's a specific thing that I need to ask you, you can put it right here in the comments. Christy said, I clear my office more often than my home since I'm at work more than anywhere, but I'll start doing my home and a more regular basis. Yeah, that's great. Oh, Michelle, you went to the workshop. I'm glad you went to the Business and Soul Alignment workshop. That's really cool. I loved it. I had a really good time, and it's just going to keep getting better. So I don't know if I'm going to be offering it live again or not. I'm planning to do something in March, but I don't know exactly the dates. Oh, thank you, Louisa. The workshop was great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys, you have an awesome rest of your day. If you have any questions or further comments about this episode, feel free to leave it in the comments below. The video is going to be, like I said, posted on my YouTube channel. The podcast will be broadcast directly to the Aligned and Unstoppable podcast on every single listening platforms. And if you are an iTunes listener, I would so love it if you made sure to follow, to subscribe, and to leave a review. That would be awesome. Always age my house, but people have cellulite in the doorways. Yeah, there's another level, right? There's always another level. Thank you for being here. I clear my energy daily, and I have crystals placed in all the spaces I inhabit to clear. Amazing. See, you're doing the work. It's just that next level. So I'm glad this could bring some new awareness, because it sounds like folks who are watching and listening are saying, yeah, I could do a little bit more. So do what feels right for you. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. Just do what feels right for you and hold that space for yourself and your home. Lots of love. Thank you.